Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Huge roster drama going down all across the VCT landscape over the last 24 hours. Cloud9 confirming their team going into the upcoming Americas League. Shopify Rebellion making a change with Vanity coming into their lineup. So clearly the Vanity and Ye duo did not work out. That was briefly being discussed. But also some game changers drama on the Disguised Toast team with him starting a new team under Disguised. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, a few matches to mention, starting with the EMEA VCT that was finally underway. Simple was in attendance here to watch Koi play their match against Na'Vi, or he was there to watch Na'Vi play against Koi, I imagine. Didn't go that well for Na'Vi though. However, the final game of the Pacific League of the week went to GenG. GenG took down RIQ as expected, 13-9 on Fracture, 13-6 on Lotus. So these were the week 1 results there in the Pacific League, leaving Zeta Division right at the bottom of the pile for now. The matches though in EMEA were pretty crazy, to be honest, because firstly, Fnatic played with a substitute and did a really solid job. I mean, Fnatic are just so good. Their talent scouting is insane, honestly. Like Giants are a solid team, and the way they were able to do that with a sub, with Alpha not even there, is just so impressive. But this was even more impressive. Somehow, Na'Vi on the verge of tying up the series here on Lotus in an absolute banger overtime. Like, I don't know why EMEA has these just ridiculous overtime games sometimes. But yeah, so Starkso finds himself in a 1 versus 3, gets 1, gets 2, Omens into the side, and then hits zyppan with the shorty for the game. I mean, well, not for the game, but to save the game. 18-18. I mean, like, what a play, honestly, from all parties involved. But Starkso especially, just an outrageous clutch from him to tie up the map. And then they won this 20-18. So it was this single clutch that sent the tide back in Koi's favour. And that was for a 2-0 win. So really impressive, honestly. I know that Koi are a great team. We saw it in parts. But Na'Vi, I thought, was certainly going to be favoured here. They go down 2-0. First map was actually not particularly competitive even. Fnatic earlier in the day had 13-3 on Icebox and 13-11 on Split up against Giants. So, of course, they had Kamek right in as a replacement, and he did a very solid job to replace Alpha in the team. And then Koi versus Na'Vi. Shados had a monster series, but fundamentally, Starkso was the one that won them that game in the Lotus there in the overtime, and, well, somehow won this round 36. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, 20-18, 13-7 on Ascent. A ridiculous series, but a very interesting start for Koi because this region is competitive, and yes, there are 4 spots available for Masters because Fnatic won in Sao Paulo, therefore there's 4 of the 10 teams qualify for Masters, but it's still very competitive to determine which 4 those teams are going to be. I still think Na'Vi will be one of them, but not the start they were looking for, and also Fnatic confirming later in the day that indeed he will be back for the BBL game. So Alpha was not there for yesterday's game, but for BBL, their next game they play, he should be arriving in time and has got the visa stuff all sorted. So thankfully, good news for all involved on that front of things. Let's talk roster drama then. So firstly, in the tier 2 side, we were expecting some tier 2 roster changes, but unfortunately one of them is not related from an organizational perspective with XQC. We saw for some time that Turtle Troop were going to get signed to XQC's team, whatever it is. Now look, let's be honest here. Can XQC organize something in the same way that Disguised Toast has organized something? I'm not so sure. And there were rumors emerging from George Geddes earlier yesterday that there was uncertainty about this deal. Whether this is because Turtle Troop kind of didn't fail to deliver, let's say, what they were planning to deliver, and as George Geddes says, the players are yet to sign following a breakdown in communication. What a massive surprise. Like, they probably just couldn't understand what the hell XQC was talking about, to be honest. The deal remains on the table, but it's progressing slowly, and later in the day, it was then confirmed by Governor. We're unfortunately still a free agent team looking for orgs to represent in challenges. Give us a chance, promise you won't regret it. So pretty much confirming then that, yeah, it's not going to happen anymore. This XQC thing, whatever was going to happen, the juices, is not the case. And exactly why that's happened, we don't fully know. But clearly either breakdown in comms or he just straight up ghosted them. And unlucky lads, it's a bit of a question mark. Unfortunate for these guys because maybe they did have other offers they could have taken instead. But if those offers were there before, hopefully for these guys, they will still be there again going forward as well. Let's talk Cloud9 then. So confirmation yesterday of the, well, roster changes they are making. We know that Vanity and Ye were gone not that long ago, and now they've brought in replacements for their respective players. Now, the funny thing is about this, that we saw at the time when they were dropped Vanity and Ye that it was, oh yeah, all these role issues really affecting our team. We've got to get these solved. But fundamentally, they have brought in an IGL to replace their IGL Vanity, and they've brought in a duelist to replace their duelist in Ye. So it's really not a massive surprise what they've done here, but it's got to be said that it's quite entertaining, and they bring in all their current players, right? Of course, Leaf here, Zelsis and Zephyr on the right-hand side, and then they're looking for their 2 additional female players, and they bring in Rooney as expected. Unfortunately, it's not actually Wayne Rooney. I thought that he might be when he finally arrived here, but unfortunately he's not. And then Jake, of course, as well. So Jake is a funny one, really, because if Jake is, maybe Jake is just Yay, but under a different name. Maybe he's wearing some sort of disguise or something, right? But yeah, you can see Jake and then Rooney. So Rooney's the IGL for the team. He's been involved in some dramas over a little bit of time, and, you know, okay, tier 2 level IGL. Whether he can step up to be a tier 1 level IGL, that's going to be a big question, because, you know, it's, well, obviously a big talking point for this team. And then Jake, though, on the left-hand side. So, yeah, he's going to be the duelist. I think a pretty promising player. At the end of the day, these are some promising players in their respective roles, but it is kind of, it's not exactly one for one, but they've kind of replaced X role with X role and Y role with Y role. And Zeppa says, replace the 2 bad players for better players. Welcome them to the team. So, kind of joking around maybe as to, because I think Zeppa wanted to keep Vanity. That was the rumor, that at least Vanity was wanted to stay by the core guys. But obviously the organization decided not to, and therefore Zeppa might even be poking a bit of fun at the organization here, because by saying they replaced 2 bad players for better players, like, because everyone kind of knows that especially dropping Ye is really not doing that. Jake and Rooney might have that potential, but I don't exactly expect them to hit that immediately. So he's obviously joking around to some degree, and then even Zelsis says role issues fixed again, kind of like almost pointing fun at his own organization, I think, in a way, because like the way they've changed these roles, like, okay, nothing's really changed fundamentally. Okay, they might change a few things around, but like the reality is that the role issues weren't the reasons why they dropped their players, especially with the players they've brought in, which are effectively like B-Tech versions of the players they formerly had. Now, whether the team could be better, it's still possible if they mesh well as a core. Like, I think the Cloud9 former team had some potential, but they just weren't able to necessarily realize that potential going forward. So what do you guys think about this change? But it's now been officially confirmed, and look, I think they're slipping down the rankings from my perspective in the Americas League. I don't think this team is going to be good enough to qualify for Masters or be in the top 3 in the Americas for sure, but maybe over time those players can come good and can turn up to the level they need. What I was saying about Jake and Ye, by the way, was because Ye's first name is Jake, so now there's this new guy they've brought in called Jake, and it's like, well, you know, what's going on there? They miss Ye too much. They've just brought in a cheaper version of Ye. This I was not expecting at all from Talon, confirming Boy is joining them as their coach. Remember, Boy was part of 100 Thieves briefly as like one of their analysts, and then even subbed in for a game, I think, briefly, and he played briefly on that team, and now he's joining Talon. So really cool stuff. Not an announcement I was expecting today at all, but nonetheless one that I was happy to see. Also then, the next bit of the drama here, especially on Cloud9 side, is from Shopify Rebellion. We saw this team fail to deliver their performances that they wanted during the first split of Tier 2. We thought, okay, will they make a change? Will they stick together? They're not sticking together. Dazzle is gone, unrestricted free agent. The team decided to part ways with him, especially because Vanity is his replacement. So confirmation that Dazzle is gone. He's been there for some time on SR, but it's not going to happen going forwards. And now they're bringing Vanity in as his replacement. So really interesting stuff. T-Dog is also joining as their assistant coach. But yeah, so Vanity for Dazzle. There's no Vanity and Ye duo. We did wonder for some time, because Vanity said on stream that there was potentially an offer for Vanity and Ye together to go to a new team. That's no longer happening. Vanity is coming in here as a 1-for-1 replacement for SR. I think this is pretty good, to be honest. I think this makes sense. Makes sense of Vanity as well. I think, to be honest, joining a tier 1 team in North America or in the Americas was not going to happen for Vanity, so glad to see he's found a spot here. And what's the case for Ye? I imagine Ye doesn't want to go to tier 2, so hopefully we get some updates for him over the coming days. But as Vanity says, we're back, excited to get to work with my new teammates. So Vanity's coming in hot, and yeah, maybe Shopify Rebellion with Vanity's help will manage to win the entirety of Ascension and qualify for tier 1 and take down Cloud9 on main stage. That would be an exciting story that I'm definitely rooting for, to be honest, after this one has concluded. The other final piece of roster drama for the day was on Game Changer. So Disguised Toast decided to, in addition to his main Disguise team, to sign a Game Changers team as well. And we saw this the other day where the Kaide was saying that she might be interested in playing effectively in Game Changers as a team with other kind of effectively, well, 4 streamers and then Tubberware as the IGL to give Game Changers a go. And I think this is a fantastic idea in general. It's going to bring a lot of eyes on Game Changers, that, you know, having the streamers involved in this. I think it makes a lot of sense for many different parties. There was, of course, some immediate backlash to this, right? Because if Disguise is coming in and, you know, investing in streamers, right, to actually play in Game Changers, then some players that maybe aren't popular streamers but are trying to make it in Game Changers will be frustrated that they weren't the ones signed by an organization putting out money. Irene here says, as someone who competes in Game Changers primarily and cares about the growth of the scene, it feels disrespectful that DSG originally asked for actual players to build a roster, which he did a while ago, and now signs 4 popular streamers, and going on to say this opportunity is exciting, but it doesn't benefit the other 4 girls, as this is a one-off experience for them. Now, okay, Disguised Toast disagrees with this and says getting some backlash on this, wants to address the topics on this discussion. I agree with what Toast says here in large parts, saying that initially he was looking to sign the best unsigned GC players, and then it didn't really make too much sense to sign an entire team of those girls, so he decides to, go on and take a slightly different approach on this, and he responds directly to the quote on it feeling disrespectful, saying, "I assure all the girls on the team are taking this event very seriously, and they all meet the criteria set out by Riot to participate. You do not get to gatekeep them from this event just because they are streamers. Respectfully, no player is owed anything in the competitive space. Everyone is grinding, everyone is sacrificing their own time to make it. You don't deserve an org more than the next person." So I thought a really cool statement there from Disguised Social, I believe is bang on, because a lot of players seem somehow entitled to an organization when others get that opportunity which isn't necessarily deserved. So very interesting. Hopefully it works well, and obviously hoping that everyone can get the support from an organization that they're looking for at some point. But maybe that's only going to happen if Game Changers grows, and something like this that Disguised Toast is doing is certainly going to help grow Game Changers to bring many more eyes on that competitive space. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Just one final thing to say, tonight there are 2 games going on in the final set of matches for the Tier 2 face-off tourney, with Disguised playing TSM and then FaZe playing G2. Loser of both those series goes straight home. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.